vibes, it's off, you need cut. Everything is about cutting people out. Every day, cut someone out. It's not every day. And that's one thing. I wouldn't take it to God. I would just leave it in my heart, and I wasn't dealing with my emotions. And now I'm 25, no kids, no boyfriend, no husband, no fiance, no nothing. What is my point, guys? What is my point? What am I talking about? Anyways. Okay guys, I just got completely distracted, but let me say my points again. First of all, I'm using the Fenty concealer, and I also use the LA Girl concealer. I just mixed them together, blended with a beauty blender. I was talking about my relationship with God, right? I feel like before, loved God, go to church, serve in the church, all this great stuff, like strong relationship with God, everything was great, my life was good, like, and you know that scripture that talks about building your house upon the solid rock compared to building it on the sand? And obviously if something is built upon sand, when the wind blows, when the water comes, when the waves come, like the whole house is just destroyed. But when it's built upon the solid rock, obviously it remains firm. Even if it might shake a little bit, it remains firm. And I feel like I've really learned that or witnessed that in the last couple of years, and I feel like it really taught me what it means to rely upon God. And I feel like it taught me another thing. When I was younger, I used to be very like not showing my emotions, not admitting if I'm upset, not admitting if I'm hurt. So even if I'm upset about something and I'm praying, like I'll just be like, oh no, like I'll just be like, oh, everything's fine. I wouldn't take it to God. I would just leave it in my heart, and I wasn't dealing with my emotions. I wasn't dealing with how I was feeling. I would just kind of pretend that everything's fine and just move on, do my little devotion time, but I wasn't really allowing God deep into my heart because I wasn't admitting the way that I was feeling about things. Do you know what I mean? So it was like very surface level because I wasn't allowing God deep into the places of my heart, like deep into those broken places, those insecure places, which is what the Bible tells us to do. It says cast your burdens unto the Lord. And I feel like for some reason before I felt like, oh no, like if I admit that I'm sad, like God's gonna think that I don't trust him. But I'm realizing now, like God wants you to take those emotions to him, and I feel like that's the biggest lesson that I've learned, and that's the biggest thing that has helped me in the struggles that I've been going through. Alright guys, what was I even saying? I honestly don't remember. Oh right, I was talking about worth. Okay, one thing that I realized recently, okay, there's a YouTuber that I watch, her name is Goldie Naps, and she made a video recently talking about how she's not as confident as she thought she was, and it resonated with me a lot, because I do think that I'm a confident person. I really do. Like I used to be so insecure, like I couldn't even look in the mirror. I remember one time in youth class, this was when I was younger because I'm a grown woman. This is when I was younger. I was in youth class and we had an activity where they took a mirror, right, like a little mirror like this. My hand, ooh, that's the powder. A mirror like this, hand it around the room. Everyone is supposed to look in the mirror, look at your face in the mirror and say, I am beautiful. I couldn't even do that. I literally, like, I looked away. I was like, I'm beautiful, because I literally couldn't even look at myself and tell myself that I'm beautiful, because I did not believe it. I was like, why am I gonna look in the mirror and tell myself that I'm beautiful when I know that I'm not? Like, that's how insecure I was, guys. I literally couldn't look. Like, that is so sad. I literally couldn't look in the mirror. And then another activity we had to do the same day was everyone was supposed to stand in the middle of the circle. We were sitting in a circle, one at a time. You stand in the middle of the circle like this and you say, I am beautiful. I could not do that. Everybody else went. I was the last person to go. And even when I was the last person, I was like, no, like I can't, like I don't want to do it, blah blah blah. And I remember everyone was like, Hadley. So I went, I stood up, I said it, and I don't think anybody noticed, but when I sat down, I literally was low-key crying because I just felt like that was so hard for me to say. Like, I was in such a place of insecurity where just saying I am beautiful was so hard. I could not see it because I didn't believe it. And it's like, I didn't want to, I don't even know. I just was in such a place where I was so insecure, I could not even utter the words, I am beautiful, and that's a very sad place to be in. And I'm so thankful to God that He has transformed my mind and my perspective to get to the place where I am now, where I can look like no one can tell me nothing. I can look in the mirror and I know that I'm beautiful. Like nobody can tell me anything. Like I really don't care if someone thinks I'm ugly, because I'm not ugly. Ugly where? Like ugly who? Not over here. Actually, not anywhere. But like, especially not over here. Like I know that I'm not ugly. Literally no one can tell me anything, and it's only God that transformed my mind to get me to the place where I can look in the mirror right now and say that I'm beautiful. Like that's such a huge transformation, huge accomplishment. And I feel like the main things that help me when I think back, honestly, is just like, I'm trying to think of what I could share that helped me, that could help you guys too. I feel like obviously the main thing was spending more time in God's presence and reading His Word more. I would read Psalm 139 every day, literally every single day, beginning to end. All of Psalm 139, it pretty much talks about I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. You saw me in my mother's womb. You formed me in my mother's womb. Like, pray about it. I'm telling you, if you pray and you ask God, like, ask God to reveal certain things to you, excuse me, He will. And once He has revealed it to you, you also pray about how you can deal with it and how you can work on it. So for example, what I mean by that is I'm very honest with myself in the sense that if I notice, I'm also a very observant person, so maybe this has to do with it as well. But if I notice myself slipping a little bit, or if I notice myself becoming a little bit insecure about something, I notice it right away and I call it out right away. I pray about it right away. I talk about it with someone right away. I ask God to help me with it right away. Like, I'm not letting any insecure thoughts stay in my mind for more than 5 seconds. Like, you're actually not even allowed in here. Like, you have to get out, because why are you there? Why am I insecure? I am a child of God. He created me. He loves me. He sent His only Son to die for me. There is no reason for me to be insecure. So for me, if I'm scrolling and I notice that I have a thought that's like, oh man, like she's really pretty, or something like that, or oh man, like her body's really nice, or oh, her outfit is so nice, or something, and I notice myself comparing myself, immediately I'm like, no. I immediately take that insecure thought and I replace it with an affirmation and something that God has said about me. I'm like, yeah, she's really pretty, but so am I. And that's on what? Period. Like, we don't have time. We really don't have time, guys, to be letting insecure thoughts dwell in our mind. Like, why are we doing that? Anyways, I've also just learned that, like, you have more control over your thoughts than you think you do. Like, you really don't have to allow those thoughts to sit there. And I know that when you're in a place where you're very insecure and your confidence is lacking, you have no self-esteem, you talk negatively to yourself, it's very hard to think or see that you can control those thoughts, because it's almost like that's the only way that you think. But you can train your mind to think another way. Like, you don't have to think that way. You don't have to have those negative thoughts, and you don't have to compare yourself. You really don't. Like, once you pray about it, ask God to help you, and He will. But what else have I learned? Ooh, that could be a whole other video, because this has already been 20 minutes of filming. Friendships. Let's talk about it. Let's actually talk about it in this video, okay? First thing I noticed is that one thing that is so important in life, okay, is to recognize when you've made a mistake, or recognize when you have certain patterns that are not healthy and actually dealing with it. Not just recognizing it and being like, oh, I notice I always do that, I wonder why, and then move on. No, pray about it and deal with it, okay? Because you don't want to allow those patterns to continue on, unhealthy patterns to continue on in your life and into your next relationships. One thing I noticed about myself is that, you know what it is? Growing up, like I said, I was very insecure. So at that time in my life when I was super insecure, this was like up until, I would say, like maybe until I was 17, 18, right? Probably when I was like 19, I slowly kind of started feeling a little bit more confident, but before that, super insecure. And I'm also just in general a homebody, a little bit I'm an introvert, okay? Let me not say a little bit. I'm an introvert. I like spending time by myself. I also like spending time with friends, but let's be real, I'm not an extrovert, okay? So me being an introvert and also being insecure when I was younger, I had a very difficult time making friends, and I feel like I kind of got accustomed and used to doing things alone. Let me grab my highlighter. I got very accustomed and used to doing things alone, and I feel like that combined with me being someone who didn't really like to deal with conflict, those two things combined made it very easy for me to cut people out of my life. And as much as I feel like culture today is very much like, if someone is not doing what you want them to do, you need to cut them out. If someone doesn't look at you the way that you like them to look at you, you need to cut them out. If you feel bad energy from someone, you need to cut them out. If the vibes is off, you need cut. Everything is about cutting people out. Every day, cut someone out. It's not every day. And that's one thing. That's what I learned. It's not every day cut people off. It's not every day. It's not every day. Like, sometimes you could really just talk. And I don't know why didn't I know that? I don't know, guys. Like, I really don't know. And I definitely cut people out of my life that I shouldn't have. And sometimes you just have to learn from your mistakes, because, you know, that's just part of life, is growing and learning. We all learn, we all grow. I mean, we all make mistakes. Some of us make mistakes and continue to make mistakes. Some of us make mistakes, we learn, and we grow. And hopefully that will be all of us together. But I'm sidetracking. It's not every day cut people off. And I feel like my independence, or getting used to doing things alone, plus me not liking to deal with conflict, those two things combined just made it very easy for me to cut people off. Because it's like, I was okay being by myself before, so I'll be okay being by myself after, and I also don't want to deal with this conflict, so that's what I was doing. And that's not right. Like, that's not the right way to deal with the people in your life. That's not the right way to deal with friendships. Like, the Bible is all about reconciliation. It's all about reconciliation, love, grace, mercy. Now, obviously, if someone is dragging you away from your relationship with God, or someone is being a horrible influence to you, like they're pulling you away from God, then yes, I understand distancing yourself from those people. But if you have a good friendship and the person is helping you to grow towards God and all this stuff, like, reconciliation is very important. Anyways, pretty much all I'm trying to say is I've just noticed my mistake of cutting people off too easily, and that's something that I need to learn, and hopefully that's something you guys can learn as well. Friendships are very, 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 very important, and I feel like society today is just too much cut people off. Like, it's not every day. It's really not every day. It's really not every day, guys. Like, it's really not every day. Sometimes you could just talk and resolve the problem, or you could talk and maybe distance yourself a little bit. Like, it's not every day cut people out, and that's a big lesson that I learned in my early 20s, and honestly this year too, because it's just too much, you know. Guys, I stopped recording on me. So, okay, pretty much I was saying, when I was younger, I really thought, like, okay, when I'm 22, like, I'm gonna be married, I'm gonna have 3 kids, like, we're gonna have our first house, like, all this stuff that I really thought. And now I'm 25, no kids, no boyfriend, no husband, no fiance, no nothing. Like, I'm very, 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 very much single. What is my point, guys? What is my point? What am I talking about? Oh, right, okay. No, I don't even know what my point is about that, guys. What am I even talking about? Okay, I guess so. Some people... No, this is not the point I even wanted to make. This video is very chaotic, guys. Hold on. Hold on just a little bit longer. Amen. This is gonna make you stronger, stronger. Start thinking like, oh, how come they're doing this and I'm not? Guys, to be honest, I don't even know what my point is. Let me just put my lip gloss on. This is this is a brown gloss. Anyways, guys, I'm getting a little bit restless. I don't even know half of what I talked about in this video, but hopefully some of what I said helped you guys. I feel like this will also give a little bit of a insight, if you're newer to the channel, into who I am as a person and how my mind operates. Because the way this topic, the way that this discussion went today is how my mind is. Like boom, 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 boom. Like, it's just like all over the place. Like, I think one thing and then it's like, oh yeah, and then I start thinking about that thing, and I start thinking about another thing, and then another thing, and then the first thing I forgot about it, and it's just a mess. So maybe this gave a little insight into how I am as a person. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of chaotic get rid. See, believe me, this is gonna make you strong. I love you every day. Anyways, thank you so much to everyone who is subscribed to my channel, who watches my videos all the way till the end. I love all of you. Even the ones who only watch 5 seconds. I love you guys as well. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you guys in my next upload. Bye.